here in the Hangover Part II. And this exhibition, it seems to revolve around something intangible called Dorm Days. Could you tell us what is Dorm Days?
Dorm Days is a Facebook sitcom, which basically meant that I stole 32 real American college kids' profiles and then created new ones, which were then inhabited over 3 months. And narrative was sort of developed by people corresponding with each other and by my direction from behind the scenes.
Why did you use Facebook?
You know, because it's there and it's being used and because it's popular. And I think that's a good reason to utilize anything for art or for whatever. Also, it's how people experience narrative now, in terms of how they construct their own narratives and in how they read other people. In a sense, everyone's sort of shooting their own biopics with their friends as the cast.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the show that's surrounding us and some of the works specifically. To start with, I suppose, let's talk about what used to be here, which is that big rhino on top of 2011. I guess we came to the opening, some of us, and strangely on that day, the black rhino was declared extinct, which was very a bizarre coincidence. But yeah, tell us why did you make a rhino?
I mean, several of the works in this show are connected to narratives and characters that were created in Dorm Days. And I think this one is very much kind of entwined with a guy called Mike Pollan, who was the frat house president. And he was this vicious bully kind of guy. He waterboarded Rob Chan here and did some pretty nasty stuff. And so he was this kind of inflated character who took up a lot of room within Dorm Days. And during the sequence of events, he became deflated. He slightly impotent and lost his power when it was discovered they had a demon inside of him, and it was exorcised out of him by this goth girl called Cassie. You know, so the sculpture kind of has that relationship, has his narrative arc kind of contained inside of it.
As well as the rhino, could you tell us about the killer whale sculpture?
So the killer whale is called Orca. And Orca ended up being a group, an organization that this guy called Scott Beard set up within Dorm Days. And they kind of responded to, or they kind of hijacked the 99% Occupy movement. And they were kind of feeding those narratives into their characters. And Orca became first about demonstration, about peaceful protest, and then became something a lot more violent, and it became about affirmative action. It came about the ends justify the means, and that violence is necessary if you want to get the message across. And to be honest, the form of the orca, of the killer whale, really just came from me scrolling through eBay and like blogs and noticing that in kind of college pool parties there always seemed to be this inflatable killer whale. Also, like the fact that the killer whale itself is kind of killer and Greenpeace at the same time. I kind of like that.
Okay, and can you tell us about one of my favourite characters in the sitcom, the character you played, Robert Chan.
Oh yeah.
Or Robbie, as I called him. Can you tell us about Robbie?
Wow, he's done quite a lot of things in those 3 months. Basically, he's gay. He's from Laguna Beach, wow. So I can't basically pinpoint it. I mean, he does a lot of things. I mean, basically Dorm Days. I mean, he was like an ex-Ren boy. He was an ex-model. I mean, he is a model. He does some modeling work. Wow. I mean, he basically he's so out there for gay rights, against the Prop 8, and because America has a lot of gay rights issues, and basically he wanted to be part of it and to be heard. I mean, I don't have a voice in real life, and to be somebody else is kind of exciting, and there was a lot of sex lines and juice. Yes. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I also found it very liberating.
Yes.
And I miss dorm days. So how was your personal experience of like having this virtual life?
It was absolutely amazing. I mean, I kind of left my own Facebook for like 3 months, and my friends were going, "Where is he? You know, where's Jonathan?" I mean, it basically took over my whole life for like 3 months, and I was like so hooked into it because everything happened in real time. So you kind of have to like do it in like straight away. I mean, you can't like abandon it for like a day or two. And I mean, there was quite a lot of good stories, and I mean, thanks to Ed. I mean, he is absolutely amazing with the stories, and because he kind of let me be who I wanted to be on long days, and to work my character, and I mean, to basically go where I wanted to go with it. I mean, like a dancer, a red boy, a model. I mean, to do Prop 8, wow.
The rug on the wall. Where did the rug come from?
The rug piece is called Animal House, and it comes from a series of performances under the same title. These were live events, which were performances, which installations we built, films shot inside of them. But the main emphasis was a performance, which was also a party, during which 120 or so people would come. They'd be given briefs on performances to do, which were based on college pranks, things I'd seen in blogs, or like little clips or scenes from films. These unraveled during the night, and kind of the structure ended up falling apart, and it had its own momentum, and there was no way that I was controlling anything during those times. And like Dorm Days, it was a content generating machine. So the remnants from that, like Dorm Days, has been incorporated into sculptural works, has been incorporated into the plot of Dorm Days, and is going to have various other lives.
As I was walking to the gallery this morning, I noticed on the bus stop outside there's a poster for the Hangover Part II, the film, not the exhibition. I was wondering, why did you call your exhibition the Hangover Part II?
Well, there is actually, I mean, a few reasons, but one of them is, like that poster, you end up hijacking. It's very easy to hijack all of their press, their advertising. The name already exists in people's consciousnesses. It's there. And on another level, I don't know if anyone's seen The Hangover Part II. Have you seen it? It's a great film. But in that, there's this character, this guy called Alan, and he kind of facilitates the other characters going on this adventure. And he kind of allows them to go into this state of mind where they kind of lose all control, and they go places where they would never normally go. So in a way, I think that Alan character is very much like the Animal House event, or what that tries to do. And he kind of allows them to go into this state of mind where they kind of lose all control, and they go places where they would never normally go. So in a way, I think that Alan character is very much like the Animal House event, or what that tries to do.
Cool. Well, we both enjoyed playing our characters, but why are you so interested in character?
I think by inhabiting other characters and by existing, by thinking differently, by making different decisions you would never normally make, by perhaps dressing differently, that affects the way that people respond to you, and therefore that also has a knock-on effect on how you respond to other people. And I think by playing with these things, you are able to see your own character in relief, and you can see that it is a constant influx. It's constantly being created and destroyed. It's constantly being put together by its environment.
Great. So as we're coming to the end, I guess one big question is which maybe has occurred to some people, is why are you hosting a press conference in your exhibition?
Well, I was watching, my friend had a press conference for an independent film they were in for Toronto Film Festival, and it was amazing. I was backstage and I was watching on this tiny little monitor, and it looked epic. It looked like it was $1 million film. And I put my head around the corner and I noticed that there were like literally 3 journalists, like 2 cameramen, and an empty auditorium. But the point is that it existed. The theatre was being created to express this idea, or like to introduce people to the film. And what I like about the fact that the point of entry is so low, like, you know, anyone can start their own shop on the internet, anyone can start their own magazine, and it kind of comes down to the idea. And I think the same is true perhaps with this, the idea of the press conference, that anyone can do it. Anyone can suddenly put themselves perceptively on the same level as the $1 million film or the political broadcast.
So you don't believe in copyright at all?
I believe that I think that it has to change, and that we can't think about it the way we have done before. And
that's in a legal sense, but then also in an emotional sense. If somebody, one of their students, walks in and sees those images, sees that they've been interpreted in ways which they might find offensive to themselves. I mean,
no, you might. I'd be interested to see that happening. And you know, I'm not unsensitive to those concerns. And if someone were to come in, I would have to think seriously about what to do, whether or not to replace those images with maybe just Google search images, or replace them with another character. But you know, for instance, YouTube runs a policy that they don't take things down unless people flag them up, and maybe that's a good policy to mimic.
It's hard for me to walk into the space. I have to do quite a lot of work. There's a story that unfolds.
Yeah, and I think you find this more. I think you find that with all art, that the more you know about it, the more you know about what surrounds it, the more you'll get out of it. And maybe I like to have this like rich depth, because you can enjoy this show perhaps on a surface level, and you can on a formal level. But if you make your decision to go on that journey and become an investigative journalist on one level, you can also get something else out of it. And maybe you can even sign up yourself to Character Date and become fully integrated.
So your show is like the homepage on Facebook with all the little entry points to
Yeah. Click here to find out more.